Hey y'all, welcome to the Moving with Millennials podcast with your favorite millennial realtors.
We are 4 top producing agents in the DFW area, and we are ready to share the good, bad, and the real life of real estate.
Whether you're thinking about getting into real estate, already an agent, or just curious about what your agent really does, join us.
Tune in every Wednesday to see what it's really like to be on this side of the transaction.
Hey y'all, welcome to this week's episode of Moving with Millennials. Today it is Maggie and I, Mariana. Again, we're here and we're going to be talking about kind of a more positive episode and topic today. A few weeks ago, we did a topic. It was all around 10 things we hate about you, kind of like a spin-off of the 10 things we hate, 10 things we hate about you movie. So we're going to do 10 things that we love about you since we are in the month of February and going through our month of love. So we're going to be talking about 5 things that we love about clients and 5 things that we love about other real estate agents. So I'm excited for this topic.
Me too.
Yeah, and surprisingly,
it's more of a positive.
It is, yeah. Like the 10 things we hate about you, we joked at the time. We were like, oh, it was so easy to come up with the 10. And I'm like, it was really easy to come up with the 10 things we love about them too.
Yeah, for sure. They kind of piggyback off of one another.
Exactly. Yeah,
we can reverse them.
Yeah. So should we start with clients?
Yeah, let's do clients.
Okay. All right. So the first one that we came up with is, okay, so I feel like this is really obviously a big deal. Sending a quick response back. So when we send you an email, when we send you a text, getting some sort of quick response. Now, I don't expect it to be like instant because obviously like we understand like you're at work, you have a life, things are going on. But I would say if I were send you an email or text about something with the hope to get a response, that you would respond, I would say within like a few hours. It's kind of, or at least like a response like, hey, I got it. Yes, I'll get, back to you when I get you.
For sure. And that also goes with agents, but just being responsive, especially if it's time sensitive, like if we need you to sign a document, if we're up against a timeline, like the contract is full of just timelines. So especially like during the option period, if you're right up against the clock, which I hate being in that position, but if we need you to sign something, if we're texting you about something and we need to make a decision. Right.
Yeah. I mean, we don't love to have to like keep checking in on you and texting like, hey, making sure you got our text. It's literally, because we have deadlines, like you said, we have to meet. So we love it when you make our job a little easier by responding to us.
Yes. And that goes with documents with the lender too. Like they shouldn't have to be, they need stuff within 24 hours signed most of the time. So it just makes the process so much smoother when things are submitted, signed in time. Yeah.
Yeah. And and like you said, it makes the process so much smoother. So it's like, not just for us, like, it's not like we're like, hey, our time's more important than your time. It's not because of that. It's because it's going to make this process for you, the client, so much easier if we get kind of a quicker response, because there's the one thing I don't like about real estate is our job is so dependent on other people to respond. Like I swear, I feel like half the time I'm in that waiting period of waiting for someone to respond to something I asked them about, so I can let the other person know.
Yes.
Like we're always that middle person. So
I know. There's
spend a lot of time waiting for responses.
Yes, for sure. There's a lot of people involved in a transaction. So
exactly. Okay, what's number 2? Oh.
Okay, respecting our boundaries. So we have a life. We are not just all real estate. We have families. We have personal lives. So that is a huge one. Respecting our boundaries.
Well, I love it. I love it when a client like says like, hey, like I totally get, that you have a life. And like, I've literally have had clients say like, oh, I totally get it. Like, I don't expect you to respond at 9 p.m. at night. Like they get it. They just understand. Or they're like, hey, I get it. Like, I'm not going to text you all the time about every little thing. Like they just understand that. And while I still love the clients who like, they want to text me about every little thing because, they want to have like that sounding board to like bounce ideas off of, like, that's not like, I love doing that, but I don't love, which maybe now we're going off of like things we don't like, but I just don't love it when they say, oh, it's like the weekend, you know, and I've sent you like 20 texts and you haven't responded to me quick enough. And you're like, I have a life too. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you and I do similar things like with emails, and like setting those expectations. But the other day before I had even sent this email, the client over the phone, like it was a buyer consult, and he asked specifically what my hours were. And I really appreciated that. It's like, thank you.
Yes. No, that's amazing. And I think it's important for agents to set those boundaries up front too, and let them know, like, here are the hours you know, I will always be responding. You know, if you don't hear from me after, like, even my voicemail says, if you don't hear from me after 7 p.m., I will get back to you the next business day. And I feel like that's fair. I mean, I give a lot of hours of availability to my clients, weekends and everything. And I will sometimes respond after 7 p.m. Mm-hmm. It's just nice to know, like, they have that expectation that if it's 10 o'clock at night, they may not get a response, and they're okay with that.
For sure.
So we love it when you respect our boundaries.
Yes. And that also is for like communicating, like for showings, like if you're running late, you know, don't just, we just need to know these types of things. So we're not, I mean, you know, we may have several showings with a different client right after. So we need to be able to know in advance that you're running late.
Yeah. So you're respecting our time too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, I feel like it just makes it a better experience for everyone. Cause like you said just now, like if we're running behind on a showing, like that's going to eat into time with another client. So it's like respecting our time that, you know, it's not like we're just have a bunch of personal time to be respected. It's like other clients' time too now.
For sure. And this also goes with setting expectations from the beginning. But I always tell clients, like, if you see a house like that you love and have to see, like, let me know ASAP so we can get that scheduled. But if it's just like a maybe based on the pictures, we probably shouldn't go see that one, because we want to maximize everyone's time. Ours, the buyers, the sellers who have to leave, you know, for the showing. It's really, we're not utilizing our time wisely if it's just a maybe based on pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like, if there's something that's not working out, and you know it's going to be one that you don't want to make an offer on just based off something you can see in the photos, like it's not going to change your mind once you get there and see it in person.
Right.
9 times out of 10.
For sure. But if there's something that, like, you're like, oh, well, if this could work, if I could add, you know, a fourth bedroom or whatever, like, we'll go see it.
Open to the idea.
Yeah. There's some things that you can't see in a picture, but if it's offer worthy based on pics is what I usually say to clients, and they get that.
Yeah.
It's just important to set those expectations.
Yep. Okay. So number 3, the third thing we love about clients is when they make the process fun, or they allow us to almost become friends with them. This is really why I do love working with people I already know, or people who've referred me that know somebody I know. And so I love being able to, like, almost build like this relationship with them even after the closing table. Like, I can't tell you how many times or how many friends, like, I feel like I have now. Yeah. I'm like, I have so many friends. No, I know. I just feel like I really am, like, I don't know. I'm so close and good with a lot of my past clients now. Like, I text them, like, we all have, you know, the ones that have kids, like, we meet up now. So it's like outside of real estate, like, we've built like a friendship too. So I just love working with those people.
I know. And like, a lot of times we'll just follow each other on social media. And I feel the same way. Like that's one of my favorite parts of the job, is just getting to know people. They become friends. I could go out with like a lot of my clients and have a good time. So for sure. And especially because, like, the process of buying a house, and I feel like when I say, like, you know, make the process fun, like, it's already a stressful thing, you know, for the client. It's stressful for us too as agents, you know, having to help a client with buying or selling a house. So we understand that the process is stressful. You know, a lot of most people don't do it, you know, but a few times in their life. So it's a huge decision. It's a huge, you know, thing for them to do, but just helping us with being as positive as possible, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, to make the process fun. Like, I'm here to help make the process fun. Like, I even love, like, I do little things, like I'll send like my clients like little gifts and stuff, like little fun emojis and whatever else, like, yay, you know, you got the house. Like, I try to make it as fun as possible, because
it can get very serious. It can get very like overwhelming. And so it's like just lightening it up as much as possible. It just makes it so much more fun to work with those clients.
For sure. Those are the best types of texts in the very beginning.
Yep. Love it. Okay, what's the next one?
Okay, trust us. So we are in this field all day, every day. We know what we're doing. We stay on top of the market. The market is always changing. So just trust us that we have your best interest. We know the market, and we are telling you these things, advising you based on our experience and what we're seeing in the current market. So what I'm telling clients even a week or two ago is totally different than what I was telling other clients. So being, I know family members can sometimes influence you, which, that's great, but they aren't in the field
real estate doing this all the time. Yeah, for sure.
I could have bought a house 6 months ago, but that was totally different. Like even, So
no, for sure. And I think it's important to know, like, we're working together with you on this. Like, I feel like obviously, like, there's always a negative, viewpoint on real estate agents of us being salespeople. So I feel like sometimes I can tell like where some clients come in almost not like defensive, but they don't want to like tell me everything, or they're kind of hiding some things from me because they feel like if I knew this, like I would use it to my benefit. And I'm like, no, you have to understand, like, I'm here to help you find a house. Yeah. Like, I'm not here to like just sell you a house. And so it's like trusting us that what we're doing is in your best interest and putting your interest above our own. Like literally, I can't even tell you how many times I have put, or I mean, obviously like every time I put my client's interest above my own every single transaction, but I can't tell you how many times like that by me doing that, like it really not like just like hurts me physically, but like hurts me like either financially or whatever, because I'm doing I'm helping them. And that's my main goal. Like my goal in my mind, every transaction I do is not how much money am I going to make doing this transaction? Like, yes, of course, like I need to make money to like feed my family, but if I need to do something that puts their interest above my own when it comes to doing something like that, like obviously that comes first. And I wish every client knew that coming into it. I think most do trust me off the bat. Like I feel like as they get to know me, like they know I'm a trustworthy person just because, I'm pointing out all the negative things in the house as well as the positive things and things like that. I'm educating them as much as possible in the process so they feel comfortable with me. But I feel like even then, they still don't 100% trust me sometimes. I don't know.
Right. And like this also goes with like inspection and repairs. Like we're going to advise we're not going to talk you into a house if it has major issues and we can't come to an agreement. Like we're not going to try and like persuade you to move forward because that's not in your best interest if they're not agreeing to like major repairs that need to be done. So, there's been several times where I'm like, if they don't agree to this, like, I can't make the decision for them, but I've had buyers back out from a bad inspection report and sellers not willing to, agree to necessary repairs.
Yeah. I mean, that's why clients hire us too, is to give our opinions, to give our expertise, to help guide them through those difficult points. Like, that's where I always think like our job as real estate agents really isn't to just help them find the house. It's cause like I feel like we've talked about this before, they can walk into a house and if it doesn't fit exactly what they're looking for, like my job's not to sell them on buying and making an offer on that house. Like I can't put a circle. I can't make a circle fit into a square. Like it just isn't going to work. Right. But to be able to get them through those hard points, even after we go under contract, like that's what we're here for. And, when they trust us and, again, I feel like trusting us makes the process so much easier. Like it makes it a better experience, not just for us, but it makes it a better experience for them. I can't tell you how many times, I've had clients that it feels like they don't really trust me and they want to go off and like, say, no, I'm going to go do my own thing. And they kind of get a little greedy at that point. And you're like, okay, it ends up biting them in the butt. And so it's like, trust us in the fact that just because we're telling you, no, I wouldn't, request those things for repairs, for example, it's not because I'm, not trying to help you the best I can. It's because I think it will bite you in the butt. We need to focus on the bigger issues, getting those accepted, and not worry about this tiny little, screw that's missing, somewhere.
For sure.
So, yeah.
And that also goes with like being coachable, which is the next one. Like, when the market was insane and crazy, like buyers were having to do these crazy, insane terms, but we were advising what we were seeing in the market to get you a house. I mean, ultimately we can make the decision on the terms, but we can advise you on how you can be competitive. And then as far as like, even a couple months ago or now still, I mean, we're seeing concessions and all of that. And I'm telling my clients this, like, hey, we're not having to go significantly way over as of right now. I mean, that can change. I was in a multiple offer situation the other day, but we're here to coach you. So when you're coachable, it makes it, one, you're going to get a house sooner if you're ready for the market and ready to compete and ready to put your best foot forward. But we're going to advise what's going to get you a house. Yeah. Well, and advise what to do to get into a house.
Right. And yeah, like you said, like the market's constantly changing. That it could be this week we tell you one thing and the next week we tell you another. If it, the market changes that quickly, because it feels like sometimes, especially right now, that it does. But that makes me think, and I know we've already done 5 things we love about clients, but I'm going to add like a bonus one, but it's like, be serious. We love it when we have a serious client,
motivated.
Motivated. Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's a better word, or definitely that's a better word, but it's like, be motivated. We love motivated, buyers. We love motivated sellers. If you're not motivated and you're kind of like, like what, it's not that you no longer become important to us, but it makes our job not only harder to do our job, obviously, it's not fun for anybody. And the longer you wait and you're not motivated. I mean, I have clients that they were trying to buy a house in 2019 and they just weren't very serious. And we go look at a house and they get really excited and they just didn't want to make an offer. And then we go look at another, they got real excited and they didn't want to make an offer. And I'm like, guys, like, what is it that you guys don't like about it? I was really trying to dig in and try to figure out exactly what it was they weren't liking so we could find them the right house, right? They, to this day, have yet to buy a house because I don't know if it's lack of motivation. I do ultimately think it is that, but it's maybe they're a little nervous. But if they would have bought a house in 2019 versus today, I mean, I'm like, you guys, they probably priced themselves out now. I haven't talked to them actually in a couple months, but I'm pretty sure now they've priced themselves out of this market. They waited too long. They weren't motivated. So we love motivated buyers. We love motivated sellers for reasons like that.
Right. That sucks for them. Yeah. Like, you snooze, you lose. But you can only, and that's just an example of not being coachable. Like you can advise and try and coach them all day, every day.
Yeah.
They won't change their mind. So it's
right. And I can't literally like force them, I can't force them to do anything. Like, I get it. I mean, I remember when 2020 became a thing, like obviously the market kind of slowed down for a second. So they slowed down their search. So I totally understood that. But then once it started picking back up, then by then the market was just bananas. So they really, when we did start making offers, because we did, and that's when we were losing out on like these crazy, ridiculous offers that we just could not compete up against. So that's an unfortunate thing, but be motivated. We love it when you're motivated, because then we're going to make sure that you can find a house, sell your house as well. Definitely. So those are all the things we love about clients. I'm sure there's more. Those are our top 5 things.
Yes, for sure. So now we're going to talk about 10 things we love about agents. And the first one is all about communication. And one of these bullets is leaving feedback. Back when it was really crazy, we weren't having to request that feedback as much because the feedback was having 1 million people in your listing touring, and homes were just flying off the market. But it is still nice to get that feedback, formal feedback through the Showing Time app, which is where agents submit feedback or schedule showings. But when if you don't submit the feedback and I have to call you and text you, like, we need to know this for our sellers so we can communicate and either adjust the listing. I mean, if it's price, if it's something about the condition of the home, we need to know that. So that's very helpful when agents actually submit feedback so we can, adjust
So
as
it helps.
needed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love good, constructive feedback, and I try my best now, especially like you said, we're just not showing as much or we're not getting as many showings on listings. So when I go to show a house, like I'm not just like, oh, buyer didn't love it. Like that's not my feedback. My feedback is my buyer didn't love it because X, Y, and Z, the home showed really well, but I did notice that they didn't make the bed. So maybe you could tell the sellers to make the, I try to give them some more feedback where it's like, here's what I saw. I feel like we're going back to like 10 things we hate about you.
Yeah. I have something about feedback in a second.
Right. But I've definitely had clients or I've had other agents that are like, well, my client didn't have any feedback. And I'm like, well, do you have any feedback? So it's like, I love it when agents even give their feedback on top of their client's feedback because we see houses all the time. So it's great for an agent to give their feedback too.
Okay. So I was in a beautiful home the other day. Pictures looked great. The house would have looked like the pictures if the seller had prepped for showings. It was I left like a huge long paragraph of feedback. I mean, it was like they almost wanted to set it up to not sell the house. Like it looked like a college party. Unmade beds, food all over the table, leftovers, not even on plates.
Oh my goodness. How long had it been on the market?
A long time. And I'm like,
why?
I would be mortified if I were this listing agent knowing that the sellers left it that way, but she may not have known. But I mean, I was like, I wish
I would snap some photos and sent it to the agent.
It was terrible. It was like they were going out of their way to make it show.
They weren't like tenants or anything, right?
No, they were the owners. I was so and they had small children, but it literally looked like a college party. And this was like on a Wednesday evening.
Oh, wow. That goes back to like our clients, like being motivated. Like that to me tells me the client's not actually motivated.
For sure. I mean, I would have been so mad if I were that listing agent because I mean, the house could have shown really well. It was beautiful, but
it was hard to probably look past all of the.
Yeah. I mean, we were having to like step over things in the bedrooms, like just stuff. It was horrible.
Wow.
Yeah. So I submitted my feedback right away.
I'm sure she loved that to be able to know because I would have loved to know that. So I'd be making a quick call.
Sure. Definitely.
Love it. Okay, so we love when agents leave feedback. We also love when agents celebrate each other's success. So I feel like this is huge. I know us, me, you, Maggie, Jake, and Brandie, like we are really great about this. Like we are constantly, when we get a listing, when something good happens, when we have a closing, like we're high-fiving each other, probably virtually, but we're trying to celebrate each other's success. And we're also trying to share the ways that, we found success in something, and I think it's important when agents are doing this. I feel like there, again, is like a negative viewpoint when you become a real estate agent that you have to like hide what you're doing to be successful, or you have to you can't share it with other agents. Like you can't, we're competition or something like that. And I don't think I've ever seen another agent as competition. Like no other agent that I know. I mean, obviously, I've gone up against other agents on listing appointments and stuff like that. So I see them kind of, where I'm trying to, outsell myself over the other one. But I never if I didn't get the listing, which rarely happens, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, okay. I
actually love being up against agents and then I get it. It almost makes me, I've learned the confidence to go in, but that puts me on a different mindset because I'm going in really confident and not aggressive, but it makes me stay on top of it's almost like I present better.
Yes, right. You actually you give them kind of the full 9 or the whole 9 yards with your listing presentation versus Yeah, like you really
For
feel
sure.
like you have to earn it and work for it. And then when you get it, you feel like you really earned it. And I make sure when I go on a listing appointment, like I give them my full 9, especially if I know I'm up against another agent. And if I don't get it, I'm like, you know what? Then it was not meant for me to get that listing,
For
because
sure.
there's literally nothing else I feel like an agent could do
Yeah.
over what I'm
Definitely.
offering. But
For sure.
no, but I do love it when we celebrate each other's success. I mean, I applaud the other agent if they get it over me, because clearly they're able to, outsell, and that's cool. And I love that. And I feel like it's important to, like, celebrate each other. And I don't know. I just love when there's good camaraderie, especially like our office. That is one thing I do love about our office, is I feel like we are really good about, like, sharing each other's success, and sense of, like, high-fiving each other when something good happens, versus thinking, oh, that person's competition, so, like, I'm not excited for them because they did better than me this month. Now, there is some healthy competition happening, I'm sure, in our office, and that's good.
For sure.
But
and
it's
just
all
helping
healthy.
each other. Yeah. Helping each other. I mean, we're all in the same profession. Like, you might as well, there's nothing worse than someone that's not helpful. It doesn't require.
I think about when I got into real estate and how many agents, like, helped me, at the very beginning. Like, they were always available for a phone call, or they were, very helpful to, like, sit down with me and show me, how to do something. Like, I had so much support, and I really do give kudos to our office for, setting that expectation up front when we joined the office, that we're very agent to agent, like, helpful, friendly kind of office. And we really are.
Yeah.
I mean, agents help each other. And then I remember for a while there, I was teaching classes and helping agents and spending time, helping other agents with their business and getting started. And it's like I was able to finally return that favor. And it felt good, definitely doing it. And it just, I feel like that's super important to have in a brokerage.
For sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
Let's see. Communicating / quick to respond. So similar with our clients, but this also goes with when you have a showing and something comes up, with which things come up, communicate if you need to cancel. Don't just leave it there, have the sellers leave and wait for you and you never show up. Like, that's one of my biggest pet peeves, is not canceling. Just text the agent, hey, here's what's happening. Here's our situation. We're not going to be able to make it. Can we come at XYZ time? So communicating, and then that just goes for in general, communicating, picking up your phone, answering questions, being helpful, not just,
communicating, being quick to respond. I mean, similar to, like we said with clients, like, especially I kind of put even more emphasis on agents responding quickly, because, like, this is our job. Like, if you're not responding between, like, normal business hours, like, what are you doing? Like, I get it. Or if you're on vacation, or if you are at a child's event, or you're doing something, I get that, but there shouldn't be a reason that you let 24 hours go by without a response of any kind. And when I say that, it's like, even if hey, got your text, yes, I'll get on top of, the HOA docs or whatever it is. It's like acknowledging, something with communication, or communicating up front, like, hey, just, I'm going out of town next week. So if I'm not as available, like, will be answering, my emails from this time to this time. Or this person is stepping in for me, during this time, and here's their information. They'll also be available. So it's like setting that expectation up front is huge. So we love when agents communicate, and when they're quick, or they set up that expectation on when we can hear back.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The next one is, this is a good one. Filling out contracts completely.
And correctly.
Correctly. Like, especially that last page where it's like all the broker information, like, that's the most tedious part. And there are so many agents that leave that part blank, and it drives me bananas. Or just like following MLS guidelines, like, we'll have offer guidelines. Here's the title company. Here's blah, blah. Like, all of our information is clear. Like, just follow those directions. Or if agents, like, pick up the phone and say, like, hey, is there a survey? And that's clearly stated in the MLS, like, I don't know. It just,
so we love when agents fill it out correctly. We get a clean, nice contract. there's no blanks or anything like that. We also love, like Maggie said, like you've read the instructions in the MLS, because a lot of people do MLS, guidelines or contract guidelines now, or offer guidelines, is that what we call it? Offer guidelines. Yeah. And we love it when agents, they do their research before asking a bunch of questions. And I get it. Like, I definitely am one who sometimes, like, if I'm on the go and I just got done showing the property and I call the agent saying, hey, we're going to submit an offer, I may ask, okay, and the seller's disclosure is online, correct? Like, just in case, because, like, I mean, obviously we're human. So I will ask that, but I'm certainly not going to say, hey, will you send me the seller's disclosure? Like, it's always, hey, it is online, right? And if they say no, then obviously I'm going to ask for it.
Yeah.
But no, we just love it when agents are also on top of it.
Definitely.
Yep. Okay. And then the final thing we love about agents, when we work together as a team for a win-win, I think this is huge. We are going to be working this transaction over the next 30 days or more. So it's like, being nice to each other, being respectful of each other. I think in the 10 things we hate about you, we talked about when an agent said, oh, I've been in the business, 10 years. And, they try to like school the other agent. I love it when an agent is helpful. And, if they're going to school me, that they say, hey, just so you know, like, I noticed that you missed, this, and giving me a little grace, and we help each other. Like, we're not in this to, actually, it's in our code of ethics that we do do work with agents that way. I remember our broker was talking about, like, if you see a blank in the contract, like, don't use that to your advantage. You shouldn't be using that to your advantage and saying, oh, well, they, don't know what they're doing. So, that's going to screw them up in the future because they left a blank. Instead, you are supposed to ethically reach out and just say, hey, I noticed that you guys didn't put any days for an option period on here, or you put the option amount in the wrong place. You put it earnest money for the option amount. I just want to double check that that's correct, instead of just assume and, then stick it to them when you say, well, you put it there and that's your mistake, so now you have to leave it. Like, no, I love it when agents are honest and ethical and helping each other out.
And professional.
Yes, 100%.
It just
makes it, it's going to make the process smoother for clients. It's going to make the process smoother for us. And I learned real quickly on, because I don't know, when I first got my real estate license, because I was young and like, I felt like agents already were like, kind of seeing me as a young agent, like they could tell that I'm young and new and all this kind of stuff. Like, I almost got defensive. And so I felt like I had to be like this, like, hard ass kind of thing with agents and get real firm. And like, that was what my job. And I remember, like, I would get like real firm on like, why are the documents, at title? And like, I would kind of like say it kind of snarky to them. And they kind of come back at me and be like, well, you don't need to, like, why are you giving me attitude about, and like, I quickly realized, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? First of all, like, maybe a jerk to the other agent is not helping my client, buy this house. So I remember having like a come to Jesus almost moment. And I said, you know what? I plan to be in this business for a very long time. And I guarantee at some point in my career, I'm going to run across this agent, or I'm going to run across this title rep. I'm going to run across someone else in this transaction, hopefully again in the future. So it's like, I need to be respectful. Like, I don't know, like, it's not like I was like super mean, but I felt like I had to be firm and aggressive and like demanding, for sure. To represent my client well.
Yeah. Cause you never know when you're going to work with that agent again. And on the other side, worked with several more than once. And luckily they were good experiences, but there have been times where the other agent has not been that easy to work with. And I mean, I remained professional, but for that very reason, you never know when you're going to work with them again. You may just been having a bad day, but it wasn't very pleasant towards the end. But we were about to close, and my buyer wanted to buy, they wanted to sell. So
and you guys got through it. And I mean, it's hard when it gets to that point of like agents kind of getting a little firm with each other. And I've definitely actually had one more recently like that, where we had to kind of get a little stern because it's just our clients were butting heads. And I saw the viewpoint of my client, and she saw the viewpoint of her client. And we were like, no, that's just not how we do this. And like, we were both kind of going, towards each other. And then after all was settled and everything was negotiated and everything worked out, I remember I said, hey, I just want to let you know, like, first of all, I apologize if I came across rude at any point. That was not my intention. I think there was a lot of frustration. So it's like, I almost had to like unravel and just say, look, like, I'm not trying to be rude in this situation. I think there are times when things get heated, and that's why clients have us, because I can't imagine some of these clients, buyers and sellers, going at each other negotiating, because I filter a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I love it when an agent kind of does that. Like, they get human with me and say, look, like, in the end, we're just doing our job, and there was no hard feelings here. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So those are 10 things we love about clients and agents. Again, I feel like there's so much more, but those are our top 10 for sure.
For sure. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we want to hear, what do you guys love about clients? If you are a real estate agent, what do you love about your clients? What do you love about other agents? We want to spread some love and positivity this month, with the month of February being all about love. So please let us know if there was anything, or if there was anything you resonated, or any stories. We always love when clients or when other agents like, oh, we listened to your podcast and it reminded me of this. I don't know if you get that ever, but it's just so fun when I hear all the stories and they can relate to what we're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Love it too. Okay. Well, we will see y'all. I almost said y'all guys. We will see y'all next week.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Yeah. Continue with all the love this month. And we love you guys.
Sounds good. Bye, guys.
Bye.